Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and we're going to take a closer look at this Matco Tools Compact Folding Pocket Clip Lifter. Now this is in the form factor of essentially a flipper knife, very much like something like this, where it's got a flipping handle and then a liner lock on the inside that you use to release it. So the question is, why would they make this? And I have to put this in a category I'm going to call a viral tool. Apparently early images and video of this went viral on TikTok, and people were like, oh, I've got to have that thing. That's so cool. Well, I don't know. Is it? That's what you're going to get to decide in the comments. I'm just going to show you a few features of it and kind of some philosophy around tools like this. Now, first of all, I wanted to add a little context to my recent trip, going back to some themes of my channel. One is tools I found. I was literally on a mountain pass about 20 miles up a dirt road at about 10,000 to 10,500 feet, and this was sitting in the road. I drove by it and thought that just had this density feeling. It was an object in the road. I couldn't see it clearly, and I thought, I'm going to go look at it. It didn't look like a beer can, didn't look like a rock or a piece of garbage. Went back. It was a DeWalt 20-volt, 2-amp-hour battery. I have tried to charge this thing. I can't get any response out of it at all. I hooked it up to a tool after trying to charge it, and I got 0 out of it, so I'm just going to recycle the thing. The other tool I found was this scraper. This is, it's gotten run over. This is a broken piece off of it. Just shattered the metal, I guess, however this fits on here. Tetris puzzle like that. But anyway, this was broken normally, I think, and run over a bunch of times. I don't know. It's pretty scored up. But I thought, okay, I'm going to bring it back home, show it to you. That's the extent of my finds. Now it's going in the garbage. But anyway, back to this guy. So we've got a plastic set of handles with kind of this rubber grip in the center. It is billboarded here, Matco, under the pocket clip Matco, on the pocket clip Matco, and on the prying surface it's got Matco. Now this whole thing, this is the G version, by the way, so if it's the MTCEDCCL, and then if you got the green, it's G, and I like green, so I got it. You can see it's a liner lock here. It's got the full opening should it get all clunked up. You can reverse the pocket clip here, but this looks like it won't fit up on this end, so it looks like you're going to have to carry it tip down. Technically, I guess would be the term. I have no idea what that hole is for. Here is a lanyard hole, should that be your thing. But because this flipper lever flips from one side to the other, you couldn't really put a lanyard on there, or it would go through the locking mechanism. Anyway, here is the business end. So here are a handful of clips. It would be very easy if these are pried down to lift them, and then it does slide under a handful of them, just like that, so you might be able to loosen them. The question is, why do you want this over any of the millions of others, especially since now it has taken the place of my second most expensive clip tool. So the first most expensive, believe it or not, is now another Matco. It is right here. This is an indexing prying one. I will get to that. This comes in a set of, I think, 3 or 4, probably 4 given the number here. I'll spend some time using this and then get back to you on it, because this is a little serious. It's a little different, but it also makes good pry bar. But this one is a little bit more expensive than this one. So anyway, back to this guy. I was curious about a few things besides the question of why. Well, first of all, has to do with the angle. It does seem very similar, kind of to that snap-on pry bar, pocket pry bar angle. Here's a couple of others. These are Tectons here. Tecton makes just outstanding pry bars, and they have 2 different bends. They are a little different design, and if I compare that, the Tecton is actually bent more. What does that have to do with this? Well, it has to do with your, basically your angle of attack, to use some off-roading terms, you know, and then what are you capable of prying. So imagine if this was flat, you just slide it in, you would have to have a depression on this side, which if this was inside a wheel well or something and it was flush, you couldn't do that. So that's not much of a bend. However, and this is what I realized comparing this to a few other designs, I can modify the shape by quite a bit, from anything from right here all the way out to right here. Now what does that mean? Well, let's say I can go in here, I can actually get this into a much smaller area and still have a nice big chunk of handle to be, or to leverage. So that's got some capabilities, kind of nice. If I go to other sizes, I could probably wedge this under. I was thinking even about sharpening this. It looks like some sort of maybe a satin finish stainless. Very high quality. A little bit rough on the detent sometimes, but it's just an overkill engineered cool tool. Nobody to my knowledge has anything else in this space. So that's, I guess, why it went viral. Here's another one. I could probably, you know, pry it up under this area here, and it does certainly fit in. Little guys, absolutely no problem. As you go up in size, it doesn't fit in here, but if this is compressed, I can wedge one of these little tines under there, pop it free, and then even with just this much, I might be able to pry it up. And if I have to rotate it and come from the back side and then pull, that's what I'm wondering. It's kind of given me some new shapes, and then of course great big ones. You'd have to be able to wedge it under there. It is pretty thin. You can see right up near the front. There are others. I mean, you can get things like this for, you know, not much under or over $10. These are trim clip tools. These kind of pliers here that grab them. This one's rusting. It's a no-name from nowhere. Anyway, but this is kind of a fun tool. So the question is, Matco spent a bunch of money probably designing this. As far, if they're assuming they're the only ones who have this thing, why would they do this? What is the benefit? When I talked to a Matco dealer about it, he said it's actually not that strong. So you can see I can flex this. You know, you wouldn't want to really pry hard. In fact, the handle pretty much needs to go into your hand. You're not gaining a whole lot of leverage beyond right here. And you might want to hang on to the joint to keep that nice and snug. You know, just saying. It's pretty thick here, but then this does have a lot of flex. It does look like the liners extend into the handle. You can see a little bit of a reflection in there, so there is some strength there. But it would be so easy to make just a solid metal bar that costs $2 that does exactly what this thing does. Who would use this? Well, share in the comments. What do you think? One thing is it is a pry bar as well. It's a real convenient, handy pry bar. Maybe if you were trying to do something, you know, in a small form factor, maybe you happen to encounter things that require either trim clip removal or just a little handy pry bar, and it is in a fun, small form factor, you know, even smaller than these pocket pry bars, and it doesn't have any sharp ends. And it's got a deep carry pocket clip. So there's that. At 40 bucks, 40 plus maybe, depending on where you are, or less, depending on your Matco dealer, is it worth it? I absolutely don't think so, because you can get exactly the same result with an awful lot of other tools, but that's not the point of this channel. This is fun tools. Tools that you enjoy using, tools that you like to have flip out, you know, and go to work, you know, popping those trim clips out, you know, primarily under dash might be the safe place for something like this, or you may want a beefier tool. But then it's also just another engineering marvel in a simple tool space, and that's fun. So anyway, let me know what you think about something like this. I like it. Is it expensive? Yeah. Is it maybe unnecessary? Absolutely. Is it green? You bet. That's what caught my eye. But it's also one of the few Matco tools I have not seen anybody else make anything like. So anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And with that, Doc out.